All right, so we've got the new Tundra here for a few Diode goodies. Right now, there are no headlight assemblies. Our customer did have the previous generation Tundra, which we had the Morimoto assemblies for and a bunch of other awesome things. But today we're going to be starting off with a grill installation. It's a TRD grill. It will have the cutout for the light bar, and we'll be putting in the Diode light bar, which is a lot better than the factory one, along with the SS5 light bar that sits right above the license plate. And we'll be changing out these factory fogs, as well as some ditch lights. So stay tuned. We'll show you how everything comes together in a little bit. All right, so we're about midway through the installation. Again, customer has a new TRD Pro grill. So to get this grill out, you have to completely disassemble the bumper. You remove the bumper and then it comes out in multiple pieces. You got the grill, you got the main sort of skeleton, there's the lower bumper trim, and of course all these pieces. Now, if you're going to be switching or going to a color match or black, you might want to do that, have those pieces ready because they're going to all come apart. Now, once it's fully stripped, you can start the installation of that TRD light bar. And that's really simple. It's 4 screws, you got washers, you got the light bar right in the middle. Now, these SS6 bars are going to be the new fogs. They come in white or amber. And we found that these little brackets, we found that they'll sit properly in the most upright position. Now we've pre-assembled or assembled the SS5, the crosslink kit. It takes a moment just to get that set up. Those are the brackets that will hold up the SS5. And then we have the wiring harnesses. The one to the right is for the light bar, the TRD light bar. And then we have, you know, some options for the other, we got the ditch lights and the SS5. And ditch lights are pre-set up. They're sitting nice. We'll aim them and line them in a little bit. But that's essentially what they look like. And we're gonna start the wiring right now. We'll show you how it all comes together. All right, that mustache piece was the last for the front. Lower one goes on first. You slip on the top one, and there are some screws from the back side. All right, these are the brackets that bolt onto the front of the bumper bar, which hold the next bracket that holds the SS5 crosslink. The holes are slotted, but we found out that the SS5, the width of the end links is adjustable, so we'll show you how that works. And we just fitted up the bumper to test everything. If you want to make any adjustments to the height of the light bar or fog light assemblies, you will need to do it from behind. So just a heads up, there's no real way to adjust it from the front. All right, so here's everything finally installed. Before we light everything up, just going to go over a few installation notes and a few things to keep in mind before you button everything up, tidy it all up. So these SS6, you can see the clearance is very tight over this cover. There's no way to actually align this assembly. I mean, the only way to do it is really to rotate it from the back or from the bottom. You can't align it with a screwdriver like the original one. So what we did, we put on the bumper cover, obviously didn't tighten anything up, just popped it into place, took it off, made adjustments, and then find the sweet spot so that way we don't have to worry about it once everything's installed and screwed on. Now, the SS5, you can easily just tweak it right from the side. The middle screw stays how it is, and the top screws get loosened, top and bottom, and then you can swivel the whole unit, and that's no problem. These brackets, however, are interesting. Those mounting plates that you saw that mount to that front bumper frame earlier, we centered those off, and they have a nice design here on the SS5 on the end of the crosslink kit that hooks up to the model specific bracket. It is width adjustable, so you can kind of slide it. At first, we were paying a lot of attention on where to position these brackets because we didn't want to sort of run out of space. However, it is fully adjustable. So these are a little bit difficult if you've worked on the previous model, Tundra. They had a similar design for the light bar, but you do need to have a helper to help you get these nuts and screws installed that are hidden back there. So we came in from the bottom with a electric ratcheting tool, and that helped tighten up those screws from the bottom. Oh, got a zip tie here, we gotta get that one. So we played around with the wiring, and partially it went to the back behind the grill, and then we also made a few zip ties. We gotta cut them obviously because we have a few loose ones, but you'll have to play with the adjustment and the grill, and then we sort of ran the wiring behind this, added a small zip tie here, and the wiring kind of comes up alongside of the grill there. So a little bit difficult to get the SS5 fully set up. I believe they're quoting about 5 hours installation for that setup alone. So keep that in mind. It is a little time consuming. And the center light bar can actually be grabbed from the back of the grill assembly, and you can rotate that to align it. We've got the model specific ditch lights installed. You can put any of the Stage Series setups on here. This is the SS3 Max in yellow combo with the backlight as well. So we got both backlights set up to the switch that came with the wiring harness for the SS5s. So it's fully controllable. The engine does not have to be on, or the ignition. We'll show you how that works in a moment. All right, so we've got the switch for the SS5, and that controls backlight and the main beam. And we have 2 aftermarket switches that were installed in these locations, and that's for the ditch lights and the light bar. All right, so you can read the instructions on how to get into the programming mode. Right now we've got it set on amber, and you can cycle through all the colors, find a backlight color that you like, and you can leave it there essentially. So once you find the color, you can leave it. Obviously you don't want to drive with red or blue. Probably green's not a great idea either. All right, we've got everything on right now, except for the SS5, it's just in backlight mode, but ditch lights are on, fogs, center light bar. You can see it's absolutely ridiculous. We'll show you the output in just a moment on the wall. All right, these are the factory low beams. We'll use that as a basis for, the output shots. So we'll turn on the SS6 fogs. And you might have seen one of our other videos. The factory fogs were just not, they were aimed pretty much at the ground. They were really weak. So here you got a big change with these new SS6 fogs. And those are street legal, fully compliant. All right, we'll turn on the factory high beams just to show you what those look like. And now we'll go with the new yellow TRD light bar in the center. So turn off the factory highs just to show. So that light bar, it's a driving pattern. It's gonna have distance. You can see it's very tight knit, tightly centered. So that's good for distance. And we'll show off the ditch lights, which will fill in the voids to the outside so you can see. It's very hard to tell inside the narrow space in the warehouse, but you'll gain some intensity to the sides. And let's turn off the center light bar along with the ditch lights, and then just do the SS5. So the SS5 is really the king here. You can see it's completely ridiculous. It's hard to even capture what's going on, but you have a lot of light right in the center, great beam pattern. We'll even take a quick measurement. All right, so to wrap things up, this is the SS5 alone. So you got 4 SS5s, and we don't do a lot of off-road lighting in terms of the comparisons or the lux readings, but most of our conversions are around the 1,000 lux, and now you're hitting 3,500 with the light bar alone. If we turn on the factory high beams, which we'll do now, along with the low beams and everything else on, you're going to hit a even higher of a number. Oh, the meter actually wasn't too happy with that. So I don't know, it's clearly hitting very high numbers. But yeah, be interesting to see how this looks in an off-road scenario. But this is probably the most light output we've ever seen inside the shop for an output comparison. All right, we're gonna end off the video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, let us know. This is factory lows and highs and the SS5. But yeah, leave a comment below. Check out the product links in the description. We'll have everything available for the 22 plus Tundras. And thanks again for watching the video. Let us know if you have any questions.